Welcome back to the Dell Diamond. It's a special day. It really should be a holiday. Opening day, home opener for the Express tonight.
Well, it is a holiday for AISD, so maybe
they should all come out.
They should all come out tonight. I mean, when you walked up to us, Chris, you said, it's a good day. It's an exciting, you look forward to this day, don't you?
You know, look, it's like being a little kid on Christmas morning. You know, I didn't sleep last night, ready to come out, and great to see you guys. Thanks for coming out and supporting us. We're expecting a big crowd tonight, over 8,000 tickets out already, so it's going to be fun. 26
years. It's hard to believe you're only 3 when this thing started, Chris. It just gets bigger and better every year, doesn't it?
It's so crazy. You grew up here and you get to talk baseball and be in baseball. But look, it's always a special day. I mean, today we'll have, HEB is going to be out front and doing their crawfish boil, and our friends at Brown Distributing have a big tailgate. And so, of course, the post-game fireworks. This is always fun. It's just something special about opening day. I think people, growing up, you become a baseball fan, and I think our staff knocks it out of the park. And so we're inviting everybody to come out tonight.
And really, the Dell Diamond, you guys are part of the fabric of the community. And this is a community event, like you said, HEB. A lot of, I'm sure schools come out here, and just families come out here. So it's important that you kind of integrate yourself into the community, and you sure have.
Well, look, that's what our ownership charges us to do. We're part of the community. I mean, I think when Reed Ryan, our founder, started this, he said at some point this would be the front porch of Central Texas. And I think he's knocked out of the park. Not only do we have Round Rock Express baseball, this summer we're bringing the Texas Volts with softball, so little girls can kind of look up to their star players that they look up to, like my kids grew up, your kids grew up looking at the Round Rock Express players. So it's going to be fun. It's always one of the best days of the year, and we have 75 more games after tonight.
That's what I love about it. And now with the schedules, I want to ask you about that. 6 in a row. Then you go on the road for 6. Then you come back 6. How do you like the way the schedule is now here in AAA?
Look, I think we get in a cadence. It's good. I tell people once we get through opening day, you kind of live homestand to homestand. Look, I think our marketing department does a great job this weekend. We're going to do some great promotions. You can see some of the things out tonight. We're giving out that Nolan Ryan pin tonight, first 1,000.
That collectible is so cool, yeah.
Our friends at Now Max will have the retro hats, and then Intel's bringing the pullover jerseys. But I think every night, they're very intentional on the things that we do to get people out, and it's for everybody. People always say, I love Star Wars night. Tim Jackson, our GM, loves Prince's night. So I think every night there's for someone to come out and do something. And of course, the baseball fans, the traditional baseball fans, we're going to have a great team. Our new manager, Kyle Moore, I know you guys have talked to Kyle. Phenomenal. He's going to be a lot of young energy, and I think it's going to be a different team on the field this year.
By the way, this jersey, love that you put a quarter zip on it, and it's a red little zipper. I mean, everything is just well thought out of.
Well, look, Laura Fregoso, our Senior Vice President of Marketing, she does a phenomenal job, and her team, I mean, they meet every Tuesday and have marketing meetings. It's always funny because people go, what do y'all do in the off season? And it's like, well, that's what we're doing. We're planning, and we're really looking at things to do. And a lot of this stuff, the planning started, 6 months ago because it takes so long to get the stuff in, and working with our partners to go, hey, here are the items we think that are going to just enhance. You guys look amazing in our jerseys.
That's great, right?
When people are repping the round.
Slimming, right? Is it slimming?
Is it
I
slimming?
can play today. Let's go. I might need a picture.
I could play maybe some horseshoes or something. Let's talk about the team, because I remember Brian Gordon was a Round Rock Dragon. He played here back in 2008, 9. Now you've got a kid that's on the team. I say kid, he's a kid to me, that went to Round Rock High School but grew up in Round Rock. How special is that going to be?
Well, Mason Thompson.
Mason Thompson.
I kind of get chills talking about Mason because it's kind of special. Mason was a sophomore when my son Chase was a senior, and so Chase caught him. So there's a connection there, and it's neat because I do remember Chase kind of mentoring him when Chase was a senior in high school and Mason coming up. And the other day in an interview, Mason said, I remember being here playing high school baseball games with Chris Almendarez. Of course, Chase is now the head baseball coach at Houston Tillotson University, but I think it just kind of comes full circle. Look, Round Rock has a great program. Central Texas, we host the All-Star games here at Dell Diamond in the summer. We host the UIL State Championship game. So it's just a special place. When you think about the game of baseball and the things we do, it's one of the things I'm very proud of being a part of. And look, it's something. I'm a baseball guy. I was born, and when I was 7 years old, the Houston Astros traded for a guy by the name of Nolan Ryan, and he's been my childhood idol ever since.
Well, when you talk about the sport, what has baseball maybe taught you as you were growing up and then now, and what do you think that it teaches some of the players? Because I would think that, with the game, I mean, you win some, you lose some, you know what I mean? I mean, you play so many games, you can't win every single one, but you learn a lot about yourself and about like the team camaraderie, I would think,
Look, I think the great Augie Garrido said it best. Baseball's a game of failure. And so you're going to fail, 3 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 times and get 3 hits. And so, you're a great player if you
That's
get 3
great.
hits.
Yeah.
And there's not many people, there's not many sports that can say that. And so I think what it does though is every day it gives you a chance to get better. And so some of the kids, Cam Cawley's a kid that was a local kid, or a kid out of Houston that won the state championship for Barbers here in 2021. He's going to be here and a chance to kind of play. And you won a state championship here. Now you're going to make your debut here tonight at Dell Diamond. How cool is that story? You know,
It's like a dream, really, for
Yeah.
these kids that get to come out here and play on this beautiful field. Let's talk about the team you've got. I can remember going through COVID and how things were difficult and trying to keep things going and rolling. You guys did a great job with that. How has your team kind of evolved? Rylan here with us this morning, kind of in charge of the media and the radio play. Talk about your team here with the Express, how solid you guys are.
Look, we have a group of our upper management, and I think when you start looking at the different departments we have, Tim Jackson, our general manager, is the best in the business. You know, he oversees the day-to-day stuff. Stu Scally's our assistant GM. He's on the revenue side with me, kind of making sure, hey, how are numbers lining up? And then, of course, Laura and her team on the marketing side are looking at all the promotions and the things that we can do. And Rylan's done an unbelievable job on our broadcasting and media. He also does the radio every night. And
That's
so
great.
how that kid does it and speaks every single night. And I want to look at him like, do you want to talk? You know, but he's just a professional. And look, COVID was tough, but I think we've come out of that. We've said, a couple of years we were digging ourselves out of those holes. But our great partners, as you look around the stadium, Dell Technologies, Brown Distributing, Ascension Seaton, they've kind of stepped up, and they're the ones that were there for us. And you don't forget. I was thinking about this morning. The Round Rock Harryman, we played that summer of COVID, and it was it was special to me because my son Chase was the coach and Luke was the shortstop, and just for the stars to align for those kids to be in that timing when we went through that. But it's always going to be something special. And I'm like, in 10 years, we're going to have to do a 10-year anniversary for that
That's
team
crazy.
and bring those kids back.
Yeah.
But look, that thing saved us because we played 15 home games. I remember going to all of our sponsors and going, hey, our partners, we're not playing Round Rock Express baseball. We're playing these guys. Would you step up? And every single one of them, like, we want to be a part of that. And the cool thing is the stories that I'll hear from people going, we couldn't do anything during COVID, but we could come out here, you guys safely, social distance. And I had my first date with my girlfriend, and now we're married, and now we got a kid. And so we're starting to see those stories come up, and that's really part of it. Not to mention we did 77,000 injections in the parking lot.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
People who are watching, we only have about 30 more seconds. So what do you want to tell people to get them to come out and enjoy the game?
I would just tell people, go to our website, look at our promotional schedule, and look, if you're a baseball fan, come out to see baseball. But if you're not, come out for Princess Night, come out for Star Wars Night. That's always a big night for me. This year, our 4th of July celebration is going to be huge. Mid-July, we're going to play as the Train Bandits in
we talked about that.
My son Luke was the model for that.
Is that right?
He was on our story over here. He looks so good. Yeah, he looked like a bandit.
But look, we keep it all in the family. And again, Laura did a great job and said, I think he'd be the perfect person. And so just a lot of fun promotions. And when you have 75 games, you're playing to get to the playoffs, to get to the championship in Vegas in September, and that's the goal. And so I talked to Kyle yesterday on leaving. He came by my office, our manager, and I said, hey, let's go win this thing. We need a ring,
Yeah.
I love it. Chris Almendarez, the general.
you so much
Excuse me,
for
the
coming
president.
in.
Used to be the general. Now the president of the Round Rock
Yeah.
Express. Thanks for your time. Thanks for letting us come out
Thanks so
today.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for always supporting us.
Thank you. We love it.